We're now joined by Tsietsi Letsebe, who is the Provincial Secretary of the Young Communist League of South Africa in the Northwest. Thanks very much indeed for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sir Ndoro. Thank you, viewers.
All right, so tell us about the message that the youth left at this gathering. What's of concern for young people that you represent in your league?
Well, the Young Communist League gave a message of support to the Provincial Council of the South African Communist Party in the province, as it had convened to prepare itself for the 15th National Congress of the Communist Party. We made a submission and our message of support to say that we are very much concerned that it looks like our structures are unable to match and respond to the challenges that are facing South Africa as a country, in particular young people, who majority of them continue to be victim of unemployment rate, which continues to grow, as we have seen in the recent labor survey report, which had indicated, released in June, and indicated to say that majority of young people are the ones who are victims to the booming unemployment rate in the country. And to us, this concern, we raise it because it is our view that the majority of these young people who are victims of unemployment rate could soon or later retaliate against the government and everything that concerns the state, given that there's no way that we can just sit comfortably when we don't have food, when we don't have employment, when in other areas there's nothing promising. We had took to note that the national rate of unemployment is 34.5%, and that although the graduate unemployment rate was remaining relatively low in South Africa compared to those of other educational levels, the unemployment amongst the young people continue to be a burden. And this is irrespective of the educational attainment that young people may have attained. And raising this issue, we're of course looking at the fact that the unemployment rate amongst young graduates who are within the age category of 15 to 24 had declined from 40.3% to 32.6%, but also increased by 6.9% to 22.4% for those aged 25 to 35 for the first quarter of 2022. And to that was a concern to us. And we were trying to challenge the Communist Party to say that as it will be going to the National Congress, it must seek to transform the organization that is perceived, or the organization that is the working class, the vanguard of the working class, to challenge itself to respond to these challenges. And in other cases, we even posed a challenge to the party to say that the party, which is the vanguard of the working class, can't sit comfortably when neoliberal agendas and austerity measures are suffocating young people. Those are some of the views that we submitted to the Provincial Council of the Communist Party, but further raised a concern to say that perhaps there's a need that as much as we engage on issues of policies that are to address the triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequalities, there's a need for the party to elect the leadership that will be able to change the script. Gone are the days whereby we would have the script that forever we keep on trying to justify neoliberal agendas and neoliberalism as a policy. So those are some of the submissions that we made to challenge the Communist Party to grow out of its comfort. There is also a submission which is made by young people in the province who have conceptualized even songs around these struggles, to say the Young Communist League just recently has been celebrating 100 years, the party celebrating its 101 years, and yet we have not seen even at least the building blocks of socialism being implemented to the latter. And those are some of the challenges that we thought that we should raise in the Provincial Council of the party preparing for the National Congress. And of course, we will be part of the National Congress ourselves as delegates in our own rights. And we will be trying to advance some of these arguments to try and propel the party to outgrow the comfort zone that it's currently at. But of course, acknowledging the gains and the commitment that the party has been trying to push insofar as addressing some of the challenges that are faced within the country.
All right, you've raised a number of issues, but one that really caught my attention is the idea of finding a new path, which may mean new leadership. Are you saying that it's time for the General Secretary, the First and Second Deputy Secretary General to vacate their positions and perhaps allow younger people with different ideas to come through?
Well, it is our understanding as the Young Communist League in the province that the question of policy and those that drive policies is also related to who gets to drive such policies. Now, having to acknowledge that, you would appreciate that different leaders, of course, meanwhile we uphold the principle of collective leadership, but you would also appreciate the reality that it's not all leaders who put in energy equal to challenge the system. Not necessarily that we're saying that the entire leadership must be changed, but we are simply trying to say that there has to be a careful consideration of those who lead the party this time around to spearhead these policies that will seek to challenge the status quo. Because as things stand, we see
you've muted yourself. If you want to just unmute. Just unmute yourself. I don't know if you can still hear me, but it seems like you've muted yourself. Please press unmute. All right, it looks like we have lost you completely there. My apologies, but we wish you the best of luck with your conference. That's a representative of the South African Communist Party Youth League speaking to us there from Northwest Province, a provincial meeting that took place in Klerksdorp ahead of the national conference, which is taking place, I believe, from the 13th this week. And they're making some pretty determined requests, and that's for renewal of the party and a new philosophy, a new way, and that might include renewing the leadership of the party. But he says youth unemployment really is perhaps what's going to be a vehicle for collapse if it's not dealt with. And this is something that should be high on the agenda at the national conference in the growing months. And he was talking about the statistics, which I think we pretty much are well aware of now. And we're starting to see some of the effects of this massive youth unemployment figure.